Welcome back to Heroes Next Door. Today on Station Rigs, we are in Teaneck, New Jersey. We have a pretty cool truck because this is a classic and they're still running it front line. To help me with the tour today, we're going to talk to the chief of Teaneck here. This is Chief Izzy Infield, and he's going to help us with the ins and outs of this classic vehicle. Hey, Chief, how you doing today?
How are you guys today?
Not too bad. This is a pretty unique vehicle because it's a classic.
Correct.
So what are some of the things that, it doesn't have and some of the things that it does have that make it pretty cool?
So this is our 1989 GMC. I said that correct, 1989. Still in service to this day. What makes this vehicle unique is it's got manual windows. It also doesn't have electronic door locks. But when you look at it, it has a lot of modern upgrades over the years. We have a interior and backup camera. So that's to help us see what's behind us. It has our up-to-date radios, sirens, and lights. Unlike our modern ambulances with a push-button transmission, we still have a manual grab transmission. And we have our computer over here in the console.
So what make and model is this?
It's a GMC Sierra 7000 with a diesel engine.
Okay. And how many miles it got currently on it?
It's got 133,058 miles.
Wow.
Original
miles. Still first line.
First line. It's proven its reliability. It starts up every time. It gets you where you need to go, and it gets the patient to the hospital.
Does it even have airbags?
It does not have airbags.
Now, the ride on this truck, is it comfortable?
It rides great.
Would you prefer this one over some of the other trucks?
I personally do prefer it.
All right. Why is that?
It's simple, and it turns heads going down the road. People don't believe it until they see it.
What kind of reliability do you have on it?
Almost 32 years.
All right, let's take a look around the rest of the truck. The cab's pretty cool, but there's a lot of things in these vehicles.
Correct. So, coming to our next compartment, a lot of our ambulances are laid out almost identical, and that started back in 1989 when we switched to medium duties. This is actually the first medium duty on the northern east coast of the United States. Came all the way from Frontline in Florida. So we open this compartment here, and we have our oxygen tank, some old school wooden backboards.
Okay. Haven't seen those in a while. But
yeah, you don't usually see them, but it's the only boards that fit in this compartment as it was designed for it.
Right, and they lay sideways, so they're going all the way back from side to side.
Up top we have MCI bags and our MCI equipment. We see a couple MCIs every couple years, so we're readily prepared. We can grab these kits and go triage patients and wait for the next ambulances to show up.
For those who are watching that don't know, what's an MCI?
It's a mass casualty incident. So,
and you've had one, I've heard.
I have. We had just a couple years ago on a big ice storm on a Sunday morning, we had a 50-plus car pileup, and in this ambulance, I was on the crew that transported 13 people at once.
Wow. So it's a big ambulance.
Correct.
So why so big?
Due to the fact that we have 3 large highways that run through town and some major roadways, the medium duties help us to carry additional personnel, additional patients if needed, and additional equipment, which we'll get to. Being that we are a pretty busy department, our ambulances are stocked up that if we cleared a call, we're ready to go right to the next call, sometimes even 3 to 5 calls. You can leave the station and you're not back for 4 hours just running back-to-back calls.
Wow, it's like a big city call.
Correct.
Okay.
They have some safety to them, some visibility. They're bigger, so they sit and they create a larger presence while out on the highway for visibility.
We'll take a look at the lights later for that safety aspect, but let's continue around the truck. What's in this cabinet behind us? This has vents on it.
Correct. In here we have a second engine. It's called a generator. What this generator does is it helps provide additional power. We can actually run the ambulance solely on this generator on a long duration scene and provide air conditioning, heat, and power to the back of the unit without having to run the ambulance.
Okay, so this looks like the generators that we've seen on some of the fire trucks at the other stations. That's pretty much the same thing.
We have 110 volt halogen lighting on the older ambulances that require more power. But it's a standalone unit that even when it's running on an average call, it's charging the ambulance and helping keep it powered while running.
How do you fuel it?
It's run off the same diesel fuel tank as the ambulance.
That's awesome. What's behind this?
Behind here we have a blanket compartment where we keep extra blankets, some rain blankets, some wool blankets for cold months or motor vehicle accidents. We even carry a stuffed animal for our pediatric patients. All of our ambulances have 1 to 2 different stuffed animals. Pediatric patients love them. They get to keep them after the call, and it's a gift from us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is this cabinet, can I reach that from inside?
So you actually can. Once we get inside, I'll show you. You can actually get to all of the rear compartments from the inside, grab any piece of equipment that you may need on the way to the call or on the way to the hospital without having to stop at any point.
Okay, so I don't have to get out to get that stuffed animal. I can get it from inside. What's the next cabinet we got?
In this compartment, we keep our defibrillator. We keep our suction units that are plugged in and charging at all times.
Okay.
We keep a bleeding control kit. This is if we went on a mass shooting, stabbing, or anything where there's going to be a lot of patients that are bleeding.
Right.
We can take
So
this
the
kit out.
Israeli dressings, the tourniquets, the bandages,
all that kind of stuff.
pressure dressings.
There's like 4 individual kits there that we can treat all kinds of patients with. Each member will grab one and go with one of those MCI bags and start treating those patients.
Very cool.
We hope to never have to use them, but
Understood.
They're here, and each one of our ambulances has one.
Right. Well, we hope never have to use the ambulance, but we got to use it
But
every
we use
day.
that all the time.
So let's take a look at the backside here.
Sure thing.
I don't want to go in yet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But what do you got back here? Why the different colors? What's going on?
So this is reflective striping that when headlights, especially at night, it increases our visibility. So during the day, it's nice and bright. At night, when the vehicle's headlights hit it, you see it reflect. And with the emergency lights, we can increase our visibility for safety on those highways.
Is that required by the state, or is it you guys
It's not
just do it?
required. NFPA requires it on fire trucks.
Okay.
But we started doing that in 2006 before other agencies.
Yeah. Again,
just get
being
ahead of
very forward thinking, it's a good way to keep your people safe. On the other side of the truck, what do we have?
Some more compartment space. Again, we can get to most of these compartments from the inside. In this compartment, we have all of our splinting gear. Okay. So we have 2 Kendrick extrication devices, KEDs. We have our hair traction, our Kendrick traction device. Okay. Nice and compact, being that we don't use them that often with no actual ski area. They're commonly found on ski slopes. Right. We adapted to use a device that Ski Patrol uses for its compact size. So it takes up a very limited amount of space.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones that we've seen was a hair traction, so that takes a lot more space. Having a compact thing like that, really is a good way to go.
Yep. We have SAM splints for various ankle and wrist injuries. And a unique thing we carry is all of our ambulances have multiple sets of extension straps in 3, 6, and 9, and 12 feet. Okay. That we can use for all different kinds of patients, additional strapping on a stretcher or a stair chair, right, or to help get those patients up. One thing people don't realize is we use them a lot in the winter to help drag people on reeves or other devices, and you create more leverage.
Yeah. I've seen some webbing, but using a strap works just as good.
We have some webbing as well, but we found that the seatbelts work better because everybody knows how to use them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a seatbelt.
You don't have to worry about tying knots.
Keep extra bunker gear, so jackets and helmets for those highway calls or storms, readily available right there. And then behind there, we have various size padded splints. Okay. That if we needed them, again, you can get to them from the inside.
Gotcha. How about below that? Anything special in there?
Below that, we have what we consider a tool compartment. Okay. So inside of our tool compartment, we've made some changes for COVID. We keep some bottles. We keep 2 bottles of bleach spray to help disinfect and decontaminate the ambulance after a call. Again, the less we have to do when we get back to the station, we can clean up on the way, potentially on another call. Good. There's that webbing we were talking about. Yep. We have bottles of road salt that we use in the wintertime. They help if an ambulance gets stuck, you can salt around the wheels. But they're mainly used when we get to a patient's house if they haven't had a chance, especially the elderly, to shovel their steps yet or walkways. In the winter months, we put snow shovels in the ambulance, and our crews will help quickly shovel what they need to get to that house, and then put some salt. By the time they get out, there's no ice, and it makes it that we can get everybody out safe. Okay.
You also have some cribbing in there?
Cribbing. It can be used on a motor vehicle accident if we get there first to help stabilize, but also helps in the winter months if the ambulance starts sliding on some ice. We do have some pretty big hills. Okay. So we'll use them as parking chocks to help keep the ambulance from rolling.
How about snow chains? Do you carry snow chains, or is this
So this ambulance does not have the on-spots. We carry manual strap chains that we wrap around the tires, the rear tires, but the other ambulances have them as backups.
Okay. And I noticed the flares you have a ton of them.
We keep flares.
Working on a highway, you got to make sure you space them out correctly.
Nighttime, even daytime on that highway, we have plenty of flares. You never know when you need them. Even a local accident, or if the ambulance has a mechanical problem, you can cordon off a safe area for the ambulance until that tow truck arrives.
All right, what do we got next? We got a couple more cabinets on the outside here.
Go right to our stair chair compartment. That also gives us access to the inside for our kits.
Okay.
We keep a striker tracked stair chair in all 5 of our ambulances.
Right.
We also have flashlights, again, for scene safety at night. They are the LED upgraded version for increased visibility.
And the stair chair, that goes up and down stairs using a track system, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It makes it safer and easier for our members to lift patients.
Very cool.
Less lifting.
One more cabinet. What we got in there?
Here's our board compartment, our lifting devices. So we carry 2 backboards with straps. We carry a scoop device, which you can use on fractured or broken hips to scoop the patient and get them up. Here we have our reeves. Again, it slides across due to space. We have one of 2 collar bags. There's also a collar bag in the splint compartment that you can get to on the inside. And we keep a short board, which we use for multiple different uses, mostly on car accidents where the fire department's extricating the patient. We place it as a barrier between the door and the patient, so there's no sharp objects, or if the tool slips, the patient, it'll absorb it and hopefully protect the patient, correct.
Way to think. Now, you also have a set of tools here.
We do. We have a set of tools, also known as irons, when matched together, and bolt cutters for those extreme circumstances, if we need to get into somewhere before the fire department arrives or any other situation. But they're there, ready to go if needed.
All right. Before we make our way around to the back, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe, hit that notification so we can keep bringing you more. So Izzy, before we head to the back and get inside, I want to know, why are there so many lights on this truck?
So it's kind of a Teaneck tradition. Back in the 80s, up until the 90s, we had a man named Walter Pinchas. He was known for his innovation and leadership. And he would evaluate the ambulances and find weak spots based on previous accidents or in his time as a police officer. Where was the weakest part of light on a vehicle, and how can we make it better to increase our visibility? So obviously we've adapted that and gone a little more. So we have extra warning lights up top, and they help on hills or on scenes where we want to be visible. The higher the lighting, the more you'll be seen from farther away. And we've since adopted to have all of the ambulances have the same front layout of the big blue and red footprint. And coming down the road, it's very dominant as to what's there. Right.
I really enjoy that you keep all the old lights. You don't have all the LEDs running on this. You have some of the old lights, even the old vector bar. You know, that's something that some of us old guys are used to seeing on either cop cars or our emergency vehicles. Keeping it on a truck is a pretty cool thing to do.
Some of those are pretty great lights to this day, but they help keep this truck the way it was.
Yeah. All right, let's go take a look at the back. All right, in the back of this is pretty cool too. It's a large truck, so trying to get up into this can be difficult. What do you do about that?
So our other 4 trucks and the newer trucks will always have the power loaders that help with a lot of that. But all of our ambulances have an air ride system that when you open the back doors,
makes that lift up just that much lower.
Yep. It drops at about 4 to 6 inches depending on the incline or level of the road.
Okay.
And it makes it much easier. It used to come up to about there.
Right.
And now it's down there.
Right, so I don't have to pick up the whole thing. Now this one doesn't have the auto load, but in your other trucks you do.
They do.
So are you thinking of retrofitting this, or just leave it as is for now?
Not at this point. We put a power stretcher in that makes it that much easier.
Oh yeah, so even though you don't have the power load, you have the power stretcher.
Yep.
That's simple. All right, let's see what you got inside. Step on in. Walk us around it.
So inside we have our standard jump kit. Inside we have our oxygen, our pulse oximeter, and anything else we would need on a standard call. Unlike modern day ambulances, the oxygen tanks were kept right back here in open compartments. In the newer ambulances, they're kept in an interior compartment that closes.
Okay.
We have our benches. As you can see, if you did a standard flip up, you can see all of that equipment that we talked about before.
Okay. What are these bar things?
So these bars are actually pretty cool. They don't get used on your everyday call, but if we have one of those mass casualty incidents and we had multiple patients, even on a standard motor vehicle accident, if you have 2 or 3 patients, we can put 2 boarded patients on each bench and a boarded patient here. So what you would do is
Okay, so it's like a stretcher side.
It's
just
basically a
for the
stretcher
bench.
side, and with the seatbelt, now that patient's not going to roll off your bench.
You don't see that very often or anything in the newer trucks, so that's pretty cool. You know, so that shows some of the history of what we used to do. You know, taking 2 and 3 patients at a time it was not that uncommon. Nowadays they like you to focus on one patient, or they just sit down. So, all right, what else you got in the cabinets?
So up here we have what we call our action cabinet. It's basically everything that you'll find in one of our many kits. It's how we restock, like that cabinet back in our garage. So if you need something, you can quickly restock. It's just extra supplies. Everything's color-coded depending on its use. So you have suction supplies are green and oxygen supplies are green. Yellow is your decontamination stuff. Blue is your other diagnostics, so BP cuffs, emesis bags, stuff like that. Red is all of your bandaging and stuff like that. So you simply just slide it open. Oh, I need a 4x4. There's my 4x4s. Purell, all kinds of other fluids that we'll need, masks, lots of extra PPE. Yeah. Can never have enough PPE these days.
Exactly. Behind that, you have a Lucas machine.
Yes. We have four of our trucks are equipped with Lucas devices.
And what is a Lucas device? For those that may not know.
It's a automated CPR compression device. So instead of having to do manual compressions, we're able to place the Lucas on a patient, and it does CPR for us. It has many benefits. It doesn't tire out crews as much. It allows for continuous CPR and effective CPR, because the average human will get tired. The electronic device does not get tired until it runs out of batteries, which we have extras. But it allows for safety on the way to the hospital, because unlike the old days where you had to sit on the bench and lean over a patient in that CPR seat, now that Lucas device is on the patient, and our members can now sit and seatbelted on the way to the hospital.
Again, that's all about safety while you're traveling. So not only better for the patient, but it's better for your crews.
It also helps free us up to help the paramedics and any other function that they need.
Okay, now behind you, I noticed that you got a cabinet that's kind of duct taped off. That's not broken. You guys did that for a reason.
Yes, we had open storage for all of our kits. Due to COVID, with having the unknown how it spread and decontamination, we came up with the idea to tarp them off and seal them, so that this way there's less areas for any bloodborne pathogens or anything currently that's airborne to get to other equipment and contaminate it.
So you're protecting the public, you're protecting your staff,
yes,
all by taking simple steps like that.
Correct. Because a lot of that stuff we didn't have to use during COVID, so it was no need for it to get dirty, and it was just easier when we came in with the backpack blower with the sanitization stuff, that you can just spray and get all the surfaces without getting stuff back there.
Right, and even though this is a large truck, there's a lot of surface area here, so having a backpack sprayer and the minimalist, that kind of what it's in here, because you only got one cabinet on the inside and underneath the seats, makes it a whole lot easier to keep clean.
Correct.
Wow, this is an amazing truck. The fact that you have let it run for 30 plus years, it seems like, is a testament to your guys' skill and a testament to the manufacturer that built this truck. I heard that you guys do your own maintenance here in the
correct
facility too.
We
right?
do a lot of smaller in-house maintenance to keep costs down, so tightening screws, adjustments, stuff like that. We have various different vendors that we send some bigger items out to. This truck actually is not the original state that it came in 1989.
Okay.
It's gone through 2 refurbishments where they took it, they stripped it down, and they've repainted the outside, repainted the inside. This is all new upholstery from 2006.
Okay. Once again, this is an awesome truck. We appreciate you opening the doors and letting us take a look at it. This is Station Riggs at Heroes Next Door. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification, and we'll keep bringing you more.